Hello and welcome back to the game room. You know what I love? Video games. You know what I love? Talking about games. And it seems like a lot of people these days who cover games seem to hate them. Or at least the people who play them. Well, that's not me, and that's not the 5,660 of you beautiful people checking out this video here today. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. This week, we are taking a look at something a little bit negative that I don't typically talk about. Now, when I covered the Xbox 360 last year, I covered about 300 plus Xbox 360 games, which also necessitated picking those games up. Well, this video is me talking about some of those games that I no longer wish to have in my collection. So if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, let's check it out. There's a lot of games out there, some of which you've never even heard of. That's where I come in. My name's Luke. I've been playing games since the age of 2, and I have no life.
This is my game room.
So I'm usually pretty generous with the games that I keep in my collection. It has to be pretty bad for me to want to get rid of some of these, and some of these games were suggested by you guys, so I do apologize, but they just were not my cup of tea. However, the first game we're going to talk about should not come as a surprise to anyone, and this is the game known as Brink. So it's made by Bethesda. For you collectors out there, there is a slipcase, but there's a reason why this game is $5 or cheaper whenever you can find it. This mainly is an online multiplayer game. In fact, that's all it is. There's two different sides you can play as, like the rebels and the people who are fighting on behalf of this people. I don't know. The story made no sense, but it's just a like a Counter-Strike type shooter or extraction shooter, something like that, where it's you versus them, and at least it allows you to play offline, but then everyone is going to be computer controlled, and there is some semblance of a story. It looks cool. It looked like it was going to be interesting, but man, is this game bad. And one of the things that, if it didn't have the slipcase, maybe I like these slipcase games, but this game is so terrible. I need it out of my collection immediately. Now, this one is not that bad of a game. I think it's just more of the fact that it's showing this series how far it fell from grace, and then there's a reason why there hasn't been a fourth game. And that is the Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel. Now, the first Army of Two is super fun. The second one is so good. Gives you the ability to choose random events, and it's just over the top and awesome. And then for some reason in this game, they removed the two protagonists from the first two games, and you're playing as these two new guys, and it just doesn't feel as good. Doesn't have the same weight, doesn't have the same impact, doesn't have the same cool factor. I think they removed it so that the two characters you're playing as are almost more nameless, so that you as the player embody these people, but it is just not anywhere as enjoyable as the first two. And one of those things where I probably won't get rid of it just because I like having the full trilogy, but if you're wondering what killed the series, it is this game. It's just not even nearly as much fun as the first game. All right, moving on to this next one. This is actually a game that I really, really want to like. I just think it's one of the few cases where it really cannot be played on a console. And that game is Omerta, City of Gangsters. And outside of the fact that there's a lot of delisted DLC for this game that is available on the PC version, this is really a point and click type SimCity game where you are playing as a mafioso. You're having to go through and hire different goons to fight for you, but then you go into these almost XCOM-like turn-based battles where it didn't make sense, at least on the Xbox. You can tell sometimes. When I played XCOM 2, and I first played it on PC, and then I played it on PS4, I could tell where they changed it and how they did a great job at adapting those controls on a PC game to a console game. And then on this game, I can tell the exact opposite, where, okay, there was almost no effort put into this conversion, and this is a game that probably should be played on PC. I really like the game still. I like the concept. I like the idea, especially after finding out that you can get into a damn car and traverse the city that way. Because I just, it took forever. You had to wait for your character to actually walk on the map. So if you get into a car, it's a lot easier. But it's just one of those instances where there are some times where it is better to play it on the PC platform. And this game definitely is one of those times. All right, moving on to the next game. This is one that I do not know if it's good or not because you need an Xbox Live subscription in order to play it. And that is Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. Now, back in the day, I remember this game didn't get great reviews, but I do remember it being decent enough. Kind of the heyday of the Plants vs. Zombies brand, I guess. But this game, you need an internet connection and you need Xbox Live in order to play it. There's not even a single player mode. At least Brink, for all its problems, still allows you to play it with nothing but computer controlled characters. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, no. You will pay for that damn subscription. So that was a bummer. I don't know if the PS3 version allows you to play it for free or if there's anyone playing this damn game. I want to say there was a sequel that came out that was pretty well received as well, though this game was always one of those things where, like, what are you doing? Why are you taking a tower defense game and converting it into a 3D arena shooter? I think that's kind of what it is. Either way, can't play it, don't know what it's like. It is absolutely wasting space on my Xbox 360 shelf, and I need to get rid of that thing yesterday. All right, now this one is probably one that I maybe should give more of a shot to. It was recommended by you guys. I'm just not a fan of the comic, the movies, don't really know, and I just wasn't really feeling the game when I played it. And that was Hellboy, The Science of Evil. Yeah, you think I would like this? It's a third-person action game with, I think it wasn't completely pre-rendered backgrounds or designed angles, but I just wasn't enjoying the muddiness. This was towards the end of when I was doing the Xbox 360 series, so maybe I just had some burnout on playing Xbox 360 games. I know some people like this game. I did not care much for it. There's a reason why I never watched the movies. It's not something that really appeals to me. And the game didn't really appeal to me either. And I'm thinking that's just one I don't really want in my collection anymore. So forgive me, guys. Maybe I should give it another shot. Let me know. I didn't really enjoy the controls, the way it played, anything about it. All right, now this one is absolute garbage. Now, I've heard the history games on the 360 can be pretty good. I have played I have two of them, and the other one I played, the patent one, I did genuinely enjoy. It played like a more janky, low-stakes XCOM. But this game, holy hell, was not good. And that is History Great Battles Medieval. And this played like everything I dislike about Dynasty Warriors, but then taken from 1,000 feet, and then like you're rolling risk dice, and just was not good. Looks terrible, feels terrible. This is a game that if you played this, I would never want to touch any of the other History Channel games, which I think this one might have come out first. If it did, it explains why no one bought the other ones, because the patent one is pretty damn good. I enjoyed it, but that one, not at all. Clunky controls, really obtuse way to play. Not talking about Blood Bowl in this video. I probably should, but remind me of Blood Bowl. If I do another one, that one will definitely be in it. I can't believe I forgot how bad I hated that game. All right, now this one is a legendarily bad game. And you know, you always, at least with me, when I hear about legendarily bad games, I always try and play contrarian or at least see the good in it. And I thought maybe that would be the case for this game. No, not at all. No. And that is Duke Nukem Forever. This game was in development hell for, I want to say, a decade. Took forever to come out. I remember being somewhat interested in this because I did like the Duke Nukem series on the PS1 and 64. Obviously, as a 12-year-old boy, there's reasons why, but it just, when it finally came out, could not care less. The boomer shooters at that time, Doom, Hexen, Duke Nukem, they were all kind of a thing of the past. When this game came out and it got poor reviews, it kind of was yeah, that's about right. But when I played it, oh my god, the story is not very enjoyable. It's all over the place. The enemy designs are boring. The gunplay is boring. And it's just, it's so painstakingly bad that I could not wait to get this game out of my Xbox 360 when I covered it, and I just cannot believe how bad this game is. I did not enjoy a single thing about it. You have these naked alien things, and you think it'd be fun to take them out. It's not. You're crawling through these areas. You're spewing out cool one-liners, but they just don't land. And it's funny. Even though we are starved for this kind of humor, this kind of game in today's age, even going back and playing this game is horrible. This is nothing like, it's not like going back and playing Never Dead or Lollipop Chainsaw or something like that. This game is just bad. It's just really, really bad. I'm sorry. But the next one was a game that I was genuinely excited for because I'd never heard of it when I was really starting looking at the 360's library. It looked interesting. It sounded interesting. But there's a reason why some of these games are $5, $10 when you've never heard of them. And that game is Stormrise. So I thought it sounded like a cool RTS style game, but then you could go in and take control of the individual troops and then guide them through the battlefield. And that's exactly what it plays like. It's just not good. So I was expecting Command and Conquer, StarCraft, things like that. No, this is a janky, bad 3D game where you have a top level bird's eye view, you send troops onto the battlefield, and then you can jump into them and sort of control them in real time, but none of it works well. It's not even like a game like Raven Squad, which is another unknown game that no one talks about that I really legitimately did enjoy, but this is kind of the flip side of that, where it's not good whatsoever. There's a delay in sending out units, there's a lot of systems you have to learn, that good luck learning any of this stuff. And it's just not worth the time investment. That's largely what happens with some of these games. Is it's kind of like the NES games back in the day where you could get good at it, and if you did, it was enjoyable. But there was maybe like one or two systems you had to learn. You know, Cobra Triangle, you have to learn when to get what weapons at what time within the 26 levels, 24 levels. But with this game, I feel like the amount of effort I would have to put into learning these systems to then play, which might be enjoyable. You know, maybe if I was 10 years old and this was the only game I had for a summer, I could do that. But I am not doing that when I have thousands of games that I don't have time to play. And especially ones that look this bad, play this bad, sound this bad. Just everything's bad. All these games are just so terrible. But this one might be the worst one. Actually, no, this one might be the worst one. So this was another one recommended by you guys, so I apologize. I am not a fan of the books. I'm not a fan of the movies. And this game, Narnia, Prince Caspian, I bought it twice. The first time I bought it from my local game store, and the damn disc didn't work. And it's funny, I didn't even go back and return it. It was like a $5 game, but even then I'm like, it's not worth it. I picked up another copy, and in it has real footage of the movie, but then you're going through and you're doing these different events with the different characters, and it's slow. There was a part where I had to take out ogre people, another one where I had to go and I want to say like do hopscotch or defend a tower, and then you're going through and almost like the Lego game, you're knocking things and getting gems and coins, and just all around not good. Not good. Very obtuse, very poor execution. Felt like the Return of the King games, but played more like Legion Legend of Excalibur on the PS2, which is a game where you swing the sword, but you don't really feel like you're connecting or doing any damage or doing anything. And that's the vibe I got from this game, and I could not stand it. I really could not stand it. And I don't know nothing of the movies or the story. I hear they're great, but yeah, it's no Lord of the Rings. All right, and then the last game we're going to talk about is one that I bought purely because it had Atlas on the cover, and it is a giant shining piece of crap, and that is the Testament of Sherlock Holmes. It is a investigative game where you're walking around trying to figure out things, and it goes about as fast-paced as a cold case from the 1800s. I could not really get into the game. I love the Sherlock Holmes kind of vibe. I like mysteries. I like solving things. And somehow this game made everything that entails probably about as realistic and as boring as it is doing it in real life. But that's not why I'm playing this game. I'm playing this game because I thought it would be interesting to go about and be Sherlock Holmes. Could not stand it. It really like you go into a room and then a cutscene triggers and then you have to click on a cigar and then the smoke will tell you you've done it right. It's really poorly executed. I played point and click adventure games designed in the late 80s that were more engaged. Zork, the damn text-based game, was more engaging than this piece of crap game. And probably this one. This one's likely the worst because it has Atlas on the title. And if you know Atlas as a company, generally that means the game's going to go up in value. That was the reason why this one is like $10, $20. And if it does go up in price, I don't really care. I don't want these games. So there you have it, guys. There are 10 games that if you have an Xbox 360 are looking to collect for it, stay away from all 10 of these, in my opinion. I cannot recommend any of them. And maybe Hellboy. I'm being a little harsh on Hellboy. It wasn't that bad. Same thing for Army of Two, Devil's Cartel. But they're getting lumped into the pile with the rest of these crappy games. So yeah, let me know what you think. Have you played any of these? Should I give them a second shot? Maybe I was just overburdened or didn't give them a fair shake when I tried it. But I don't know. I don't feel that way. As a reminder, I release a new video every Tuesday. It's been so nice getting a hold of you. Take care.